Austin, I want to ask you about him because we've
Yeah.
been asking a bunch of people about Jourdan Lewis, and I think it's first of all, how good has he been, and why has he been so good in your opinion? And lastly, did you even know who the heck he was before he got to Jacksonville?
I mean, I definitely knew of him just because, obviously think about the Dallas Cowboys, it's all Micah Parsons and then that offense. But like, I remember Jourdan Lewis just because he was kind of the outspoken and brash one of that defense. So I did know who he was before he got to Jacksonville. Why is he having so much success? I mean, I think it's a combination of a couple of things. I think it's obviously when you have a defensive line that's getting home with four, that's playing good complementary football. So that helps to the back end of the secondary. I think Eric Murray has been playing really well and helping him out. I mean, I think really a lot of the players in that defense, the linebackers, have played really well. So I think when you take that all in totality, yeah, he's having a great year.
Yeah, I just think it's wild, and we probably have said this a time or two. I think I've equated it to like a guard. If you're a really good left guard, right guard, and with this is all due respect. I'm not trying to diminish it. I just think it's a bit crazy because I've also been an advocate for the nickel corner should have its own Pro Bowl designation and
Sure.
all pro designation. It's that big in the game. Dewey Winger told me yesterday is like nickel corner should be amongst the highest paid guys in the league for what they're asked to do. That's how much they're used. But we don't even know that this guy coming into Jacksonville is like the best nickel corner in the game. And Dallas didn't want to spend the money. Jags get a 3-year deal for $30 million. $20 million guaranteed is the deal. He's 30 years old now. So that can be that was a curiosity between Jourdan Lewis, 29 at the time they signed him, and Eric Murray, 31. Okay, the Jags are getting a little bit older back there. But man, has that really worked out. That has been unbelievable. And he is really good. Like, so good. I heard a comp earlier this year, like he feels a little Christian Kirk in the building, which is also, and that shows like his professionalism, how much he's added to the room, what he's like in meetings. And we're getting a lot of that kind of commentary about him. But I'll tell you, there's another thing about Jourdan Lewis to me that I find striking. And this is just kind of labeling a guy, stereotyping a guy, if you will. He is brash on Twitter and social media. And so I didn't think that would marry with everything else that they're saying about him from a leadership standpoint, everything else. Like, it kind of felt like, okay, he's one of these corners that's probably doing his own thing, right? Based on what he's saying on social media. And that is not the case at all. Like, he just, hey, he's going to say it how it is. And I heard that, I think, from Josh Hines Allen. He didn't quite say it this way, but I think what he was trying to say is he is who he is, and there's not a lot of gray with him. He's going to tell you how it is, and he's going to hold you accountable, and he's going to go do his thing. And I think players really like that. I think people in general really like working with people like that, Austin.
No, without a doubt. And I think, it's one thing to be a good football player, right? And it's one thing to be a good nickel corner. It's another thing to be a good nickel corner who's talented on the field, but is also brash, right? Like when you can combine those two in matrimony and kind of have that swag mixed with your skill set, you can back it up. That means everything. Like that's what leadership looks like. Like there's a lot of guys that can do a lot of talking and everything, but sometimes you got to question, do they have the skills to back it up, right? And then when they don't, then people start questioning, okay, is this guy a good leader or not? Jourdan Lewis, number one, he's been a little brash. He's been entertaining, in my opinion. Some people call it brash. I call it entertaining, right? And this is it's sports entertainment, right? It's just ask James Gladstone. But then when you can back it up as well, Brent, like that means everything. And it's cool to see because like I even saw I don't know if it was somebody was retweeting him and talking about him like on a national level, and that's really cool to see, right? Like how many times do we see Jacksonville Jaguars players get mentioned set aside from Travis Hunter? It seems like. Like on a national scale. Like now I understand it's because Eric Armstead's playing good, so he's doing the whole car wash. Like I've seen Eric Armstead in more national interviews. Like dude might be on CBS Good Morning America as far as I'm concerned. Like guy won the Walter Payton Award, crickets. All of a sudden he's having some pretty good, having some success. Defense is playing, and all of a sudden Eric Armstead's everywhere to be seen, which is cool, right? Because this defense is eating. So it's Jourdan Lewis, it's Eric Armstead. It's cool seeing these guys kind of get, like the national attention. Just because, we can maybe saying their praises or maybe saying some of their, the dislike of playing out of position last year, but it's really cool to see them now getting some praise.
Yeah, no doubt. This goes back. We have a comment about Gladstone, what he's been able to do and identify. And again, this free agent class that he's identified with Lewis and Eric Murray and those guys, very good. Very, very good
Gardeck,
so far. Gardeck.
Keep throwing Gardeck in there, Brent. No one's talking about him.
No,
but
in fact, yeah, you're right. And I think a lot more people are starting to talk about Gardeck. He's probably going to be a story for us next week, going into the Monday night game for one of our pregame shows, because I agree with you. I think this is a guy that's like, these are the guys that, like, people will say raise the floor, but I don't think that's enough. I don't think that's enough of a compliment for those guys, right? Like, Jourdan Lewis is not a raise the floor guy. Well, he is. Damn, he's playing like a superstar. That ain't raised the floor. He's playing like a star right now. Eric Murray feels maybe a little bit more raised the floor, but, I mean, he's played really well. I don't know what the delineation between superstar and raised the floor is. Again, I think raised the floor is a great concept. I understand it. I think everybody gets a visualization. But I also think, like, that's kind of saying, okay, these are, like, mediocre players that are going to at least make you 8-8 or 9-8 or 8-9 or whatever. So, like, there's also that context to it. And I think that's a little bit of it's not meant to be, but I just think that can be a little bit of a slight to the way some of these guys are playing. Gardeck is another one. I mean, you want a team that is going to bring some edge. You want a team that is going to play physical. You want a team that is going to do some things right. That these are things that the Jags have not done overall. Like, even when they've been good, you don't, wow, look at that. They're playing like their hair's on fire. They're physical and all this. Not really. Our 2017 Jags defense was fast and playmaking. I wouldn't necessarily say they're going to knock you into next week. 2022, a little bit more of that because the Derrick Henry play comes to mind, and there were some real physical plays from that unit. But again, playmakers instead. Gardeck gives you what the offense is trying to do with running the football. He gives you to me on defense, Austin. And he has been absolutely tremendous. They raved about this guy when they brought him in, and everybody's like, who the hell is this guy? Kind of the same thing about Jourdan Lewis. And I think that's really interesting about their acquisition stuff in this year. They went to guys that they hated playing against at their previous stops, and they brought them here to Jacksonville. Jourdan Lewis and Dennis Gardeck are two of them. And Gardeck's been really good when he's on the field.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild because, like, if I'm being completely transparent here, like, if I see the Jaguars draft, I would have thought the Jaguars draft would have had so much more of an influence and so much more of an effect on this team than the free agent class, right? Because, like, remember, like, we're trying to look for an edge rusher, and you got one, like, in what is it, Agba or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, you're looking for a secondary. Okay, you get Murray, you get Lewis, and, like, those were names, but, like, I don't think anybody really thought those were, like, the home run names, right? Like the difference maker type of names. You get Gardeck, who, the resume is a lot of good, but he comes off that knee injury, so you're wondering about that. Like, I don't think anybody was parading in the streets thinking about this free agent class. I think we're more focused on, we got Travis Hunter. Oh, okay, this Caleb Ransaw. How fast you're in the 40 end? Like, we were so preoccupied with that at least I didn't really, like, take the draft class or the free agent class, like, super seriously. And then you see the effect that they're having, like, everybody is contributing. And once again, this echoes James Gladstone, what you just said, Brent. Like, he's picking players that, he didn't like going against. And sometimes I think those players can be unsung, right? So sometimes those players aren't the superstars per se on their teams, but they get the job done. And that's exactly what's happening now in Jacksonville. Like, are they household names yet? Not necessarily. But when you turn on the film, they're dependable, they play hard, and they get the job done. And really, that's all you got to ask out of a free agent class.